All right, good morning everyone. Great to be with you on this Memorial Day just before 10:30. Thanks for joining us for Weather Extra. So far, our Memorial Day weekend has not been the kindest to us. It's been tough to squeeze in any of the activities that you've had planned. I know Saturday was basically a washout almost from start to finish, at least for many locations. Yesterday, squeezed out some dry hours for Sunday morning. But then the afternoon, that brought a round of severe storms. Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis was tracking that for you. He was actually covering a couple tornado warnings in parts of Middle Tennessee and portions of Northeast Alabama. And then we had that second round of severe storms come in late last night, overnight into early this morning. Some trees coming down across the area associated with those high winds. No word yet from the National Weather Service in Huntsville if they were planning on doing any surveys associated with those tornado warnings. I know today is a holiday. I'm guessing their staffing isn't full, although with the threat of maybe some stronger storms later today, I'm not sure how they staff their office, and they probably still have a backlog of surveys that they're planning on conducting just from last Tuesday, the May 20th tornado event. But this is going to be a short and sweet Weather Extra here. Appreciate everyone that is spending some of your Memorial Day Monday. We've got Guntersville right now. I got an email from a gentleman there saying that their Memorial Day service was from 2 to 3, and he was asking, what's the weather looking like? Are we going to have a window to do that Guntersville service outside? I think they'll be okay. We are tracking rain and storms already to our west, but I think they're really taking their time kind of tracking to the northeast, and I'll show you that, of course, coming up. But a couple of boats out on Guntersville. No surprise there. I know we're getting close to Hydrofest weekend, too. I'm not sure if it's this coming weekend or the following weekend, but that's always one of our cooler, almost summer events. I know they moved the date a little bit, too, but cloudy skies, and that's pretty universal across North Alabama, Middle Tennessee. You really see some of that cloud cover right now in the shoals, northwest Alabama, looking at Wilson Lake, Wilson Dam. And even when I showed this camera during the morning newscast, the clouds were so low, but we just have so much moisture and humidity out there. It almost looked like we had some of the scud clouds that could sometimes look a little intimidating when you see them in person, but it's actually just kind of cloud debris, more or less. Most of the time that scud cloud is harmless. We call them SLC, scary looking clouds, and we had definitely some scary looking clouds moving through yesterday afternoon with that round of storms. We go out to the radar just like this morning, completely dry. No one actually seeing any rainfall right now. It's good news if you're doing something outside, and you still have a few hours here before we start tracking any chance of rain and storms coming in from the west and to the southwest. And this is what I'm talking about. This is kind of leftovers. There was a big complex of storms when I got into work this morning. It was moving through parts of central and east Texas, and there's kind of this secondary wave of it. And this is widespread, moderate to maybe even heavy rainfall right now, pushing through portions of central Mississippi, tracking into northern Mississippi, and it just continues to slide to the northeast ever so slowly here. So the rain is coming, but you still have some time if you want to be outside today and not get poured on. Rain and storm timeline, just the later you go in the day, the higher chance and likelihood you have of actually dealing with some rain showers. I think the threat for the strong to potentially marginally severe storms is actually going to hold off until a little bit later this evening. I'd say maybe 5, 6 o'clock at the earliest. And this will be kind of similar to what we had last night with those MCSs, if you will, those mesoscale convective complexes just coming in and tracking through. You get that wind threat, you get some hail, a lot of heavy rain and lightning, and the flooding threat is something we certainly have to watch very closely here as we go through the next several days. So primary concerns with the storms that are developing later on today: isolated gusty winds. Just know how saturated that ground is. It won't always take those severe wind gusts to knock down some trees and potentially cause power outages. So that's something we'll continue to monitor through the rest of the afternoon. Locally heavy rainfall could be very heavy overnight into tomorrow morning, portions of the day on Tuesday too. Small hail, I don't think we're looking at a severe hail threat. I think the wind threat is a bit more concerning than the hail threat here. And frequent cloud to ground lightning. This is something that is so important, lightning safety on a day in a long weekend like this where so many people are spending time outside. I know we had that person struck by lightning out on their boat on Gunnersville on Saturday, and we hate to hear reports of that coming in, but it's a possibility. Lightning is very, very dangerous, and the lightning strikes will be very, very frequent anytime you get a more organized storm. So through the rest of the day today, temperatures are slowly warming up, and a lot of that is just limited by the cloud cover we have overhead. We'll keep an isolated shower chance in through about 1, 2 o'clock, and then I think we'll start to see some more pop-up showers and storms developing. Highs today should be right around 80 degrees. So let's go through the rest of the day hour by hour now. Looking at some dry hours here still. I can't stress that enough. Now we get closer to noon, and we're seeing some of that rainfall that I just showed you in Mississippi on the current radar. Again, this is future radar, so what it potentially could look like as we go into the noon hour. But we're tracking the rain and storms moving in from the west and southwest, and you kind of just have some clusters. This won't be widespread. At least this is this model's theory on things, and if it is widespread, I think that would lower our chance for seeing some strong to severe storms later today, just because we might have some of that rain cool there. But definitely the later you go into the afternoon, a better chance of seeing a pop-up shower or storm. Now this is a feature that's been pretty consistent across several model runs and several different weather models, is kind of this cluster of rain and storms coming in as we go through the later evening hours, and this is where we'll probably have that highest threat of seeing some of those stronger wind gusts, the lightning threat, potential for that pea to dime size hail. But it's not everywhere. Just kind of get one of those bands of rain and storms sweeping across the area. Now as you go through the early morning hours into Tuesday, and if you're a very early riser and you leave very early for work, like I do, I fall into that category, driving to work at 2:30 every morning. But we're looking at some pretty heavy rainfall from time to time. That's likely probably going to happen. I would think that this would just be rain, maybe some thunder and lightning, but we're not talking about a organized threat of severe weather coming for Tuesday morning. It's just kind of the back to work after a long weekend. That commute's probably going to be tough as it is, but keep the umbrella and that raincoat very close by tomorrow. Periods of showers kind of off and on through mid to late morning. And then we start getting into the afternoon, the most unstable part of the day. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. Very humid day, wind direction out of the south and west. And another day, we're tracking 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds of rain and storms coming in. So really probably the most active day we've seen in a while is actually going to come tomorrow. And this will be very heavy rainfall, threat for those gusty winds, the hail threat, the lightning threat too. Continuing to push from west to east as we go later into your afternoon tomorrow, but it looks like it ends pretty abruptly once kind of that front, if you will, actually pushes through. Now as we go into Wednesday, finally some drier skies. The morning could bring a few and just kind of pockets of rainfall, and then by the afternoon on Wednesday could see some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms developing. Actually looking a lot drier with this model run versus what I showed you this morning. So that's good news. Thursday, we're actually going to keep entirely dry from start to finish. And I can't even tell you the last day we had a day on your 10-day that didn't have some chance of rain. Now, that may change, but I'm optimistically forecasting a 0% chance of showers and storms for Thursday. So looking forward to that day personally. And actually next weekend looks great for now. For now. That's the disclaimer, but looks good. We'll get to that on your 10-day here. Forecast rainfall. This is just today and also Tuesday, maybe parts of the day on Wednesday with some of those isolated showers. But most of this is coming down today and through the multiple rounds of rainfall coming on Tuesday. Could see 1 to 3 or more inches of rain, and that's where that flooding threat's really going to come in. Temperatures now warming up. We've got mid-60s, low 70s. If you see some peaks of sun, good for you. Even though we're overcast today, make sure you've got some sunscreen on, because that sun could still give you a pretty decent sunburn. Overnight tonight, 67, lingering showers and storms. Rounds of rain and storms coming tomorrow. Most active day we've seen basically over the past couple of days, and we've had plenty of active weather, that's for sure. And then by Wednesday, we'll with the high of 81, maybe partly cloudy, chance of some isolated to scattered showers and storms. So here's the big picture across the area. We've got that big cluster of rain and storms coming out of Texas, portions of Arkansas, Louisiana, and that initial band of rain is now pushing into parts of central Mississippi. For tonight, pretty widespread shower and storm coverage across all of North Alabama, Middle Tennessee. I think the overnight storms won't necessarily be severe, but still some loud thunder, frequent lightning, all possible. And I think we'll see a lot of coverage of the rain and storms. And then you go into Tuesday, and this is the day bringing 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds of rain and storms here. The more rain we see, the cooler our high temperatures are actually going to be. But I think we get close to 80 at least for tomorrow, unless we see a ton of rainfall during the morning. If we see a ton of rain during the morning, that could lower our threat for strong to severe storms. But we finally get some drier days coming. I misspoke there. I thought I had a 0% chance for Thursday. We'll go with 20%, which is still pretty good, but it is looking like a dry day. I think we see some showers to round out the week there on Friday, maybe some storms, but I think we're mainly looking at rainfall. And then look at that weekend. It's about time we get a decent weekend around here. I know I've gotten a lot of people messaging me and just commenting on my posts saying, when are we going to get a decent weekend? I think this one is a contender for sure, and even the end of your 10-day forecast, it looks pretty good. So for the rest of the day today, eventually through the afternoon, we'll start tracking showers and storms. Some storms later this evening could be strong to marginally severe in nature, threats of gusty winds, a hail threat, a lot of lightning too. Please practice lightning safety. If you hear thunder, go inside. If you see lightning, go inside. A safe structure, interior, not necessarily interior room, but just away from windows there, and just be smart. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. If you are heading out to a wreath laying ceremony or anything, keep an eye on our 48 weather app, and I would suggest also bringing an umbrella or a raincoat. So everyone that joined us here, a lot more than I thought we would see on this Memorial Day Monday. Got about 225 plus of you, and that's just on Facebook. This is always on YouTube. It's on our 48 Now channel. You can find us on Apple TV, Roku, right there on our website, WAFF.com. You hit Watch Live, and it takes you to that 48 Now stream. So have a great rest of the day, and tomorrow looking like a busy day. More rounds of rain and storms coming in. Watch out for that flooding threat too. We could see 1 to 3 inches of rain today and tomorrow, and even parts of the day on Wednesday. So that will wrap up Weather Extra. Tennessee Valley Living is taped today with Peyton Walker. She is off for Memorial Day. My weather will still play, so I'll give you an update then. And then also, of course, our newscast at noon. I'll be on with Claudia Peppenhorst filling in for Gina Benitez. So have a great rest of your Memorial Day Monday. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you the same time tomorrow at 10:30 for Weather Extra.